I'm going to do a quick demonstration to show the best way I've found to integrate the Omnichord OM-300 with my MPC Live 2. This can work with a DAW or basically anything with Midi. Alright, let's give this a try. Alright, so to start, let's make sure we've got everything connected. You're going to want to put a Midi cable from your Midi out on the Omnichord to the Midi in on your MPC or your interface or whatever you're using. Second, I connect the headphone out on the Omnichord to the input on the MPC. So what you're going to do is take a TRS to dual TS so that you get the stereo signal. I don't actually know if there is a stereo signal coming out, but just in case there is, we've got stereo inputs on the MPC Live, and you can do the same thing on your interface. Just plug it into two inputs. As long as you have two inputs, you're good. You might even try it with one input because we're only going to be using this for drums. I'm not sure if the drums are stereo. Pretty sure they're mono. Let's start getting some sounds connected. So, make sure the Midi port is set to MPC 1 because that's the plug that I have it connected to. Again, your Midi out to your MPC number 1 in, or just make sure it's mapped to the correct input. We're going to start with just channel 1. Let's see. Okay, so start with track number 1, and that's going to be the Strumplate. So let's label that Strumplate. And we're going to go here to our Midi settings. Make sure you're in the Midi tab. And I already... And we're going to go to our Midi settings right here. And then when you go to ports, you want to make sure it's MPC 1 because that's where we have the Omnichord connected to MPC 1. And we're doing the Strumplate, which is on Midi channel 1. And we're going to make sure it's armed. Then I'm going to go here to the hype synth, and then I think pluck synth instruments sound best on the Strumplate, but that's up to you. I like this one called Pretty Chime. There we go. Pretty Chime. Alright, next track. Going to go back to our Midi settings. Alright, MPC 1, Midi channel 2. Now, Midi channel 2 is going to be bass, so let's label that bass. And I have this plug-in instrument fatty bass on there. So let's arm it and see what we got. Alright, perfect. That's 2 tracks we got going. So let's move on to track 3. Alright, track 3. Once again, we're going to go to our Midi settings. Again, MPC 1. But now we're on track 3. This is going to be chords. And I want to put an organ sound there. So we're going to go in these key group programs. I have jazz organ queued up, so let's try that. All right. All right, we're getting there. Let's label this chords. All right, so far we've got our Strumplate, bass, chords, and now we're gonna have our Chord Plus. That's kind of like the pre-programmed melody. So let's name that Chord Plus. And if you have this switch to manual chord, that still broadcasts to MIDI channel 3. Alright, and we're going to queue up our Chord Plus track. Let's go to our MIDI settings again. MPC 1. This is going to be channel 4. And I kind of like like a Rhodes or Wurlitzer kind of sound. So I like to go to plugins. I'll go to plugins, pull up the electric plugin, and let's pick maybe one of the hard whirly. That sounds good. Alright. Now let's have make sure auto chord and chord plus are on as far as chord mode. Alright, we successfully have Strumplate, bass, our chords, and our chord plus melody. So, here's the catch to all of this. It does not seem that the Omnichord shares any MIDI drum data through the MIDI cable. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know in the comments. But I haven't found a way to do that. Here's my workaround. So, back to that audio out we had on the back of the Omnichord, the headphone out, going into our MPC. Now, I go to the sampler to check the levels. I don't know if there's a better way to do this, If there is, please let me know in the comments once again. Let's arm this. And so we have the drums going. Here's a good level. That seems like a healthy level. You have this gain control for those channels on the back. Stop this. Now you go to audio, input 1 and 2, make sure your monitor is in, and let's name this drums. So this is the best way as far as I know. If you have any suggestions for streamlining this, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear it. But I had not seen a video on how to integrate these two devices or the Omnichord with the DAW, which, like I said before, you can do exactly the same way. So